So if you're living in Virginia, you know we're going through a heat wave. We had one much earlier in the year, but now 104-degree temperatures and not a lot of rain. It provides the perfect equation to have a failing garden. So something that we probably should have done a long time ago, but if we think back last year, we had a lot of rain, we had a lot of moisture. This year is different from that. So we've installed drip irrigation onto this almost 2-acre market garden, and we can already see the effects of its use. Now, there's lots of ways to get water onto the garden. We have overhead sprinklers. That's kind of the most popular, but it's not the most efficient. We've terraced our gardens to kind of collect all that water, but even still, when you overhead water, you lose a lot immediately to evaporation, and we can't really direct it where we want it to go. It's just a broad acreage application for water. Where drip irrigation, on the other hand, we can target almost down to the specific plant to make sure that each root zone is getting water. So these are really simple to set up. We have the hydrant that we've put in. This is, pumping water from the well. This is not from the solar well. This is actually hooked up to the grid. But we have the hydrant that pumps the water through 1-inch water lines. So we drill the well, put the pump in. We've got lots of videos on how we did all that at other farms. But we drill the well, put the pump in, lay the water pipe up to this hydrant. There's gravel at the bottom so it can drain off. But then we've got these splitter valves. Now this allows us to get water at any time, should we need it for something, for the dog, for a bucket, for a hand watering. But now we've come into this system, and it starts with this battery power timer. You can get these on Amazon for not a whole lot of money. We can set the schedule at which we deliver water. So we are right now doing this twice a day, once in the morning, once in the evening. And we do that because we don't want the sun to be out, and it just increases our chances of not having the water evaporate and having the water sink into the soil. So you'll notice the pressure here is pretty severe. But down here, we have a pressure reducer after this timer. So the timer turns on, and then we don't want to put 60 pounds of pressure. So here, I think this is 8 to 10 pounds of pressure in this line when it turns on. It's not turned on right now. This is very low pressure. And the reason for that is that the way these fittings go, we don't want to have high pressure. We want to have long, seeping, soaking watering sessions. So the water comes out and it hits this 3/4-inch main line. We have two of these because we don't, one on this side for this half of the garden, one on this side for this half of the garden, because we don't want people to trip as they come through here. But off of these 3/4 lines that are capped at the end, we have these emitters, and the emitters go to drip tape. Now this drip tape, you can see, has little holes in it. And when the water turns on, I'll turn it on so you can see what's up. So when the water turns on, these lines are gonna fill up, and they're gonna just slowly drip water into the base of the plants. Now we want them as close as we can get to the plant to ensure that we're getting water to the root zone, but it really adds a lot of moisture to the soil. If you look over here, granted we just had rain this morning, right? If you look over here, dry dirt. But if we look over here, there's moisture in the soil. You can see that. You can see there's life there. Life needs water. Plants are 90% water. So all of these things come together to make that ecosystem that we talk about all the time. These are tomato plants. We've got some tomatoes on them. They probably need to get tied up again. But the water comes to each one of these rows. We've talked a lot about the layout, where we lay out our rows 30 inches. We leave a pathway 30 inches, another row on contour roughly as we head down the hill. So at each one of these rows, we can put one of these emitters in and then deliver water to all the plants. In addition to having the terracing and the water harvesting effect there. So we can slow, spread, and sink the water into the landscape and have the plants that we want to grow. This is like go time, right? Approaching, we're in the summer, we're maybe even into the middle of the summer. And we're gonna start harvesting here pretty soon. And if the plants don't have water, we've talked about consistent water in other videos, but if they don't have water, if they don't have consistent water, they're not gonna have the level of production that we want. Let me play with this timer and I'll fill up this line so you can see the water seeping out So if you're looking to do this in your own garden, you're going to need some things. First is you're going to need a well or city water. Well water is better. Rainwater collection is another option. You need some source of water that's delivered through a pump or gravity fed to your distribution center. We have our 3/4 main line, our pressure reducer, because we're coming off of a well, and our timer. Now you could come out here every morning and crack the valve and have it give water. That's a thing. But largely, it's kind of cheap for a drip irrigation system to go in. You need your timer, your reducer, your main line, and then your drip tape, and those are sold differently. You need the connection, which connects the drip tape to the main line, and then you need some way to cap it at the end. Now you could just tie a knot. That's a good way to do it. Or you can get an actual cap that screws onto the drip emitter connection here, but it doesn't allow the water to go any further. These parts are pretty cheap. The expensive part is delivering everything that goes on the back end. So if you're putting in a well, if you're hooking up to city water, that's going to be expensive. If you're doing rainwater collection, you're going to need your gutter system, your first flush system, some sort of container, and then you're going to need that pressure, whether you get that again through a pump that delivers it to the system or you're gravity feeding it. Now, if you have it high enough in elevation, gravity feed might be the way to go. But to get that 10 pounds of pressure here, you're going to need your tank 20 feet up in the air. So that's kind of hard to do, particularly when we're talking about weight of water. How do we build a structure that's strong enough to support that? But the drip irrigation is very cheap. We got ours from Farm Tech, which is we got our greenhouse from them. We have a great relationship with them. They're really, really wonderful. You call them up, say, this is what I'm trying to do, and they'll help you in designing your system. Now, we don't have them here, but there might be two other things that you need in the system. One, the price, we've got about $1,500 in this, so $1,000 an acre maybe. Now that's the box, the valves, and shipping costs. A lot of that is shipping costs. Yeah, the other two parts that we need, or may apply to your situation, is one, a filter. And a filter keeps these little emitters from plugging up in the drip line. If you're doing trees or something, you might want to have an emitter that it comes above ground and but for this drip line, maybe a filter is good. The other thing is a fertilizer injector, and that allows you to put liquid fertilizer into a bucket or some sort of container and then get siphoned into this line so it distributes out at each one of the plants that you're doing. We don't really do that because we've got so much fertilization through the chop and drop and other methods and composting, but for large commercial growers, that might be something that you want to do. It allows you to mix Miracle-Gro, we're not advocating that, or some other type of fertilizer that's liquid and deliver it directly to your plants. So it's something to think about, a filter and a fertilizer injector. But for us, I think we're doing pretty well without that for the moment. So now I'm gonna advance the timer so that you can see these drip things going. It is 11:23. So here you have your onsetting, your offsetting. How often do you want it to go? How long do you want it to go? The start time and the set. So I'm going to change the start time to 11:25. Okay. And then we'll turn it back to on. And here in a second, just turn on, and that's delivering water to the main line. And it starts working its way down, filling up that tube. And then we're going to see these drip irrigation, this drip tape start to emit water. So these holes are not very big, but you can see the water starting to emit out of there. Now we're not pushing a lot of water, but the takeaway is that we've got the water for a long period of time and we can direct it exactly where we want it to be. That's the power of drip irrigation. So all these little holes, you can see them, they're about a foot apart. Now ideally we want these holes on the top. I see you looking at it thinking, why aren't they on the bottom? And the reason that they're on the top is that when it fills up, it'll crest over the pipe, but it's not getting in the dirt that might clog those holes up. So if you're a homesteader or a farmer in Virginia, times are really tough right now, and a lot of that comes back to water, but we just gotta keep persistent through. The farmers are hurting because there's not a lot of rain, means not a lot of hay, means not a lot of cow. So I think the cow market's gonna go down and then it'll skyrocket because our herd is the smallest that it's ever been. But it all speaks to more of a necessity to be farming at your local level, to be less reliant on going to the store, to the monopolies that don't really care about you. So this is the way it's always been for farmers. There's lean times, there's bulking seasons, and it comes back to having your community, being hard working and being out in the field and making sure that your connection and doing things right to the highest efficiency. That's why we've installed this drip irrigation. That's why we terrace the landscape. That's why we do all these chop and drop things. That's why we put out all these free resources. If you check the link in the description box, there's a lot of free resources that we've given and we want to share with you because we want to make it cheaper, easier, faster, more efficient to get back to the landscape. So ultimately, you have the highest quality produce for you and your family, and it makes this stuff a little bit more affordable. Check the link in the description box or comment coop. We'll send you the free chicken coop plans. That's a great way to get started in providing for yourself, your family, and your community.